Good morning. My name is Nicole Forsyth, and I will be the moderator of the webinar. We're very, very excited to have you all here today. 1 year into the pandemic, and many companies are looking for better ways to solve their remote work and distributed workflow issues. So let me introduce you to Caroline, who will review the main issues and solutions. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A section, and we will get to them at the end of the presentation. So Carolyn, I will pass it over to you.
Thank you, Nicole. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar. Today, we will talk about our IP KVM extenders and how they are enabling distributed workforces, building more agile remote workflows for both on-site and off-site employees. We will look at the challenges of remote computing and how we are addressing these pain points for critical infrastructure applications. We saw that the pandemic accelerated the deployment of remote desktop solutions, and we expect this trend to continue. Eventually, we will reach a new normal where some employees will be back in the office and others will continue to work remotely. We have been working with several of our customers to help them enable their remote operations. And we would like to show how they are leveraging the adaptability of our IP KVM products. And with one solution, both their local and remote users are able to control systems that are secured in machine rooms. So these could be high-performance workstations, running design or creative applications, SCADA or DCS systems used for machine data monitoring, broadcast and production equipment, or security and surveillance systems. The common element between all these different applications is the need for a solution that's secure, delivers good user experience, and is readily compatible with their existing infrastructure. Distributed workflows bring new challenges both from an organizational and operational point of view. You need to find the right tools and technologies to keep your employees productive while working remotely. From a remote KVM point of view, we group these challenges into three categories: user experience, security, and infrastructure. Let's start with user experience. Creative professionals, knowledge workers, or design engineers work across multiple monitors or high-resolution desktops. They need the screen real estate to view more information and work more efficiently. They need to have similar remote setups to maintain their productivity and interact seamlessly with their software and tools. This also means good keyboard and mouse responsiveness for real-time applications. For some users, the support for different types of USB devices is also important. We see this mostly in the broadcast and media space, where they use CG keyboards in production studios or pen tablets for graphics design. These are part of their workflow and they use it on a daily basis. Finding a solution that can remotely drive these USB devices is also important. Next is security. With a distributed workforce, you are widening the attack surface and increasing your exposure to risk. Unfortunately, widely used remote desktop solutions become quickly a new attack vector, as we recently saw with the Florida water treatment plant that got hacked. You have to make sure that the confidentiality and the privacy of the information you are transporting over IP is maintained, and that your systems are protected against man-in-the-middle type attacks. Managing the user access rights and authentication tools become equally important over public networks. Most importantly, you need to find a solution that's in line with your IT security policy and to properly follow the deployment guidelines for a secure setup. Now let's look at infrastructure. With a distributed workforce, you will use private or public networks, and sometimes both, to enable your remote operations. Our customers find it challenging to find a KVM product that delivers them the same level of flexibility and performance for both local and remote operations. It was important for them to standardize on one solution for both types of operation to simplify support and maintenance. Supporting switchable workflows is also more challenging over public network. Operators monitor information coming from different systems, and they need to be able to easily switch between these, and they expect to have the same level of flexibility whether they are working over LAN or WAN. Next is system compatibility. Mission-critical systems go through lengthy qualification cycles or certification processes. It's challenging to use a software remote solution with these types of machines. When you install a new software, you will have to either retest your system or go through another certification cycle. And this adds delays and costs to your overall project. Remote software solutions also use the CPU or GPU of the system for encoding. So it's important to evaluate how this is going to impact the performance of your system. For basic applications, for example, email or word editing, this is a non-issue. But if you are running a specialized software that also uses the GPU for rendering, you need to understand how sharing the processing power is going to impact the performance of your application. With XCO3, we are enabling remote KVM control for distributed workforces. These are high-performance IP KVM extenders. They work in tandem with your system. They capture and extend to a remote station, keyboard, mouse, video, audio, and other USB signals. These solutions are designed to work across standard 1 gig networks. And we have a powerful encoding engine and a patented technology that enables us to deliver high-quality video at very low bit rates, of course, with seamless remote performance, so at PC experience. XCO3 also supports switchable workflows. You can easily route any system to any remote station over IP using standard off-the-shelf networking gear for KVM switching. And the same product works across LAN, WAN, or internet. So one solution to control systems from different locations. I would like to review right now some of the projects that we've worked on with XCO3 to enable remote operations. Our first example is a control room in the energy sector. They wanted to set up a backup control room within the same facility. So when an employee tests positive for COVID, they need to temporarily close down the main control room and shift operations for cleanup to the backup control room. In this project, all their systems are in the machine room connected to a transmitter appliance, and you have XCO3 receiver devices in the control room. You need one receiver per operator station. Each receiver is powering 4 displays. So 4 video signals are carried across one network port, which makes it easy to deploy for multi-monitor workspaces. The second important decision factor was the use of standard off-the-shelf networking gear for KVM switching. They did not want to invest in a proprietary KVM matrix for this project. And 1 gig network was also readily available, so an upgrade of their infrastructure was not required. For security reasons, they segregated the IP KVM network from the machine data network that's connected to the HMI and PLC devices. And to switch operations between control rooms, they use our APIs to program a control panel and easily and quickly move selected stations to the backup control room. Our next example is also in a process control room, and they were addressing a similar challenge. But in this case, their remote employees were spread out and located in different cities. They wanted the flexibility to control systems from different locations. Here, the KVM signals are transported over WAN to multiple remote locations. When you are transporting KVM signals over longer distances, you need a solution that's efficient and runs at low bit rate. Our engineers did an amazing job to give the perfect balance with XCO3. So you get high quality desktop at very low bit rates. From an infrastructure point of view, we had a site-to-site VPN established between the remote locations and the main building. And to protect the privacy of the information, we encrypt the audio, video, and USB signals. As an extra security measure, they chose to block the USB 2.0 devices from working on the receiver appliance to prevent the potential spread of malware through infected USB keys. This is a setting that's controllable through our management software, XTO Central Manager. They also had full control over user access rights, and they were able to easily manage and give remote users access to systems, either full-time or part-time. Our next remote workflow is for a production control room. They wanted to limit on-site staff for workplace safety and enable program director to produce shows remotely from home. In this studio, they work across many equipment and systems, CG servers, automation, replay, vision mixers, and of course, they have multiple displays showing different video feeds in the studio. All their systems were in the equipment, and they wanted both the program director and on-site staff to connect to the same system and at the same time. So a collaborative setup where you are sharing systems. In the home studio, our receiver device was powering a multi-monitor workspace, and each monitor is connected to a different transmitter, showing different content coming from different systems. And with our aggregator mode feature, the director was able to control all the systems with one keyboard and mouse. From an infrastructure point of view, again, they had a site-to-site VPN, and the signals were transported over a private network most of the way where they had QoS, and the last mile to the program director's house went over internet. XTO3 gave them the ability to cost-effectively share production equipment between two locations and remotely produce shows. In our next use case example, we have an OB-WAN project. So the engineers needed to switch between different CG equipment from one workspace using XTO3. And at the same time, to reduce on-site staff, one of their engineers was able to control a system over internet. So they ran XTO3 in VPN mode, which establishes a secure IPsec tunnel between the firewall and the XTO3 receiver device. So this is a built-in VPN client into XTO3 receiver device. Next, I would like to talk about a project at a design firm. They wanted their employees to work remotely across dual 2560 and 4040 displays, and some remote stations were equipped with 4K monitors. So they were using high-performance workstations for design, and they liked that XTO3 encoded at 60 frames per second, including at 4K resolution, which delivered them the fluid 3D performance that they were looking for. They also had a mix of Windows and Mac system. So one solution worked across both platforms and with the graphics card models that were already certified for their application. So we looked at the different projects we enabled with XTO3. Let's take a closer look at what the additional capabilities of our product line is. XTO3 supports a wide range of multi-monitor configurations. We have both a dual and a quad model IP KVM, and it can go up to 4 1080p 60 resolution or 4K 60. It supports 444 color space. This means that there's no chroma sampling, and it transports both the chroma and luminance data and gives you a true representation of your color space. We talked about 60 frames per second encoding for all supported resolutions, including 4K 60, which is important for good 3D performance as well as smooth video playback. And this is a solution that's designed for real-time applications, so you get great keyboard and mouse responsiveness, and we support a wide range of USB devices, including CG keyboards, pen tablets, or jog wheels. XCO3 also supports switchable workflows over IP. You can connect and switch between multiple systems from one remote workspace, and this is supported both over private and public networks. So this means more than one user can connect to the same system. You can share equipment or collaborate on the same project or work during different shifts. With our aggregator mode feature, you can also monitor multiple systems from one remote workspace. Each source system gets mapped to a display, and you take control of all the systems with a single keyboard and mouse. You simply have to move the mouse to a target desktop to take control of that system. So this is a feature that's built into XTO3. You don't have to install any software on the source system or use an additional hardware device. And with our tile view feature, you can display 4 source videos on a single 4K display. So this gives you a unified view, and you can seamlessly switch between systems, again, by simply moving the mouse across the screen. And here's a view of our on-screen display menu that's available on the receiver side. You see all the live thumbnail previews of your source systems, and it's very easy to switch between them. You basically have to select and click. You can search for the friendly name of the machine you want to connect to, or program special hotkeys to toggle between your favorite ones. And for setups where you have to actually share systems with different users, we show the name of the user that's currently connected to help you manage shared connections. We work with a lot of organizations that have closed systems or certified equipment, and XCO3 is great for these types of app systems. It's discrete. You don't have to install any software on the source system. So it maintains your certification. It also means that it does not impact the performance of your system. It is not taking any CPU or GPU cycles away from your application. It's a hardware solution that works without interfering the performance of your application. So security is an important element of XTO3. We offer several features, including AES encryption. So audio, video, and USB signals are encrypted. At the same time, we make sure that the communication between the transmitter and receiver device is also done securely, and we use HTTPS for communication. We have a complementary software that lets you manage user access rights, both on the transmitter and receiver side. It also easily integrates with Microsoft Active Directory to simplify deployments. And for traceability, we offer audit logs. So you can monitor which user is connected to which transmitter unit and so on. All these features are available over the public and private network. For work from home scenarios, this also gives you a dedicated appliance for work. So this means you will not be using your personal laptop to connect to a remote session, and you are not increasing your exposure risk by sharing your system with your family members who might be playing games or watching movies on that same laptop. So there's a clear separation between work and play. If you are working on confidential or copyrighted protected content, with this setup, the data also never leaves the server room and it stays protected. In addition, on public networks, we offer something very unique with XTO3, and that's support for a VPN mode. So this means we are integrating an IPsec VPN client into our receiver appliance. IPsec is a widely used protocol to establish a secure communication over public networks. So it encrypts the data and supports multi-factor authentication. This brings us to the end of our webinar. I hope this gave you a good overview of XTO3 and the type of remote workflows it enables. I will pass the floor to Nicole to start the Q&A session.
Thank you, Carolyn. We do have a couple of questions here. What's your bit rate for 1080p 60 video?
Yes, so we offer different encoding quality levels that you can control and set up through our XTO Central Manager software. If we look at the 1080p 60 video, our typical bitrate, I would say it's about 15 megabits, but that's also really tied directly to the type of content that you have up and running on the screen.
Okay, perfect. How many systems can you remotely connect to one? How many systems can you remotely connect to from one receiver device?
So we support small to large scale KVM matrix switching environments over IP. You can have hundreds of systems, so each connected to a transmitter device, and from there a single RX can connect to these machines.
Okay. One question that's come in, will XDO3 support 8 displays?
So in order to support 8 displays, you can use 2 receiver appliances side by side to be able to drive 8 displays. And then you would need also 2 transmitters on the system side to support that configuration. So using 2 of the devices, that's already a supported configuration.
Okay, great. Do you support audio over internet?
Yes, so XTO3 supports both analog and digital audio. So the digital audio is embedded into DisplayPort signal, and we support that both over LAN, WAN, and internet.
Okay, great. Let me see here. Is there a management server with this solution?
So that's a good question. With XTO3, we support what we call a distributed model. We provide XTO Central Manager, which is a complementary management software that you can install on any system that's connected to your KVM network. And you will use our management software to basically set up and configure all your devices over IP. And once the devices are up and running, all the device settings and rules stay within each appliance. So you can connect the machine that's running XTO Central Manager. So to answer the question, a dedicated server is not required. We have a software application that could run on any system and use it throughout your project or temporarily.
I just see a question here. Will the recording be available to share with customers? And I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. Yes, we will be sharing the recording. I think that's about all the time we have for today. I do see a few more questions, but I will get those answered and send them out to the people who ask them. So thank you very much, Carolyn, and
thank you, everyone.
I hope everyone has a great day.